Okay, hi, how are you guys doing? I am going to start out today. Well, first of all, I hope and pray that you guys are having a blessed day. If I look tired, it's because I am. Kind of was all over the place last night as far as in my sleep. So I am pretty exhausted. But I did want to come on and share some of the things that I experienced. And yeah, pretty much just. And this video will not be anywhere close to as long as my last video, and neither will it be probably anywhere close to my last couple of videos. So we're going to try and get through this. I am going to start with um, a poem that I wrote. I wrote it on June 1st, 2020, after experiencing a moment that I had experienced with looking at one of the um, incidents with police brutality. It wasn't a death, but it was enough to get into my spirit. And I was thinking more so of the mind frame of the officer, the individual behind the behavior. Um, and then I thought about the individuals who, are covering up the behaviors or these incidents. And so this is what this is what I wrote. So, like I said, it's a poem that I wrote. Like it, love it, hate it, it's okay. Comment if if you so desire. But it says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Please don't kill yourself. Let me. Please don't kill yourself. Let me. I will do what I have to do to be the best. I will work really hard to pass the test. My numbers for the scores will be more than enough. My GPA will be 4 and above. And after my BA, I will run for office and manipulate the people in the city and the state who brings me coffee. They will think they are holding my hand as we walk side by side. But COVID-19, social distancing, will help my disguise. It would help me disguise this lie. And one day, at the right time, I will appear as a directed man in uniform right in front of your very eyes, and you will cry, please don't kill me, and I will take you and your brother's lives. So that is a poem that I wrote. Um, and I'm going to say this, I'm sorry, please forgive me. For you wonderful, wonderful, progressive people who can clearly see that I am live right now, please refrain from calling me. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Okay, so moving on from that. Um, the other thing is I want to, now I'm a Christian, yes, but I'm a person too. And I have to be real with you in some things. I mean, because I see a lot of things. I see a lot of things in my visions. And with saying that, let me just pause and say, for you individuals with premeditated intentions, please, please don't think that you're not being seen. God sees all. So even when you're thinking that you're plotting and you're planning and nobody is seeing, oh, it's being seen. So with that being said, I'm going to move into my next thing. My next thing is, and I am going to move pretty swiftly here, you guys. Like I said, it's not going to be as long as my other videos. My next thing is take off your badge. And when I say that, you know, seeing premeditated thoughts and intentions, that didn't come for just the officers. It's not only officers. So I want to be fair here. So, but I am going to move forward with this. Take off your badge. I get that. And when I first started writing this, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to title this little portion of of my message. It was take off your badge, or it was, dude, we're not scared of you. We're trying to respect your badge. And I know it sounds, rough, but the reality of it is, it's the truth. It's the truth. For some reason or another, you wonderful men, and I have so much respect for good police officers, for the good guys. I have so much respect for you guys. So please, for you wonderful men that know that you are good at your heart and know that you don't act outside your character, please just take a seat and listen. But for you wonderful police officers that are acting out, please do understand that these men are not afraid of you. They are trying to respect the law. They're trying to respect the badge in which you stand behind. But it's not that they're afraid of you. And it's so important for you to see that, because your malicious intentions, premeditated, is going to get you caught up. And I'm just being real with you. So I couldn't think to title this area Take Off Your Badge. And let me tell you where the Take Off Your Badge comes from. I know this guy, right? He's a store owner, or he was a store owner for this company at the time. He's actually moved on to bigger and better things, thank the Lord. But needless to say, he had this wonderful employee that would come in every day, and this little guy had an attitude. I mean, he would get angry about just the smallest of things, but then he would always talk about how he need his job. He need his job. And so this man, the manager, he was always just, in his feelings, because he's like, this dude coming there, he just disrespect me all the time, just telling me what he won't do, want to knock over stuff, just acting out, right, on the job. And so this man, the owner, not the owner, I'm sorry, the manager, he wasn't the owner. This company is a big, big company, like franchises all over the world that this man worked for. But this man, he went to work one day. This guy came in, and again, with his little wonderful mouth, mouthing off at this man. And this man said, you know what, dude? He said, clock out. Clock out. He clocked out. He took his manager tag off. He said, let's go to the parking lot. He whooped dude's butt in the parking lot. He whooped his butt in the parking lot. And then he told him, he said, you good? He said, okay, now you understand that you can't whoop me. So now, let's go ahead. We good? Best of friends right today. Best of friends right today. They clocked both of them back in and went back to work, and that man came to work for him every day after. They are the best of friends right today. So that's where I got the take off your badge. Take off your badge. You want to stand up against one of these men in the streets? Take off your badge, because it ain't about you. It's about your badge that paralyzes them, that makes them pause because they're trying to obey the law. So take off your badge. If you so bad, if you really got all the manpower that you need up in you, instead of taking down your whole force and department and making them look bad, take off your badge. Take off your badge, whoop his butt, and then if it's necessary, if that's what you're supposed to be doing, is putting him in handcuffs, put him in handcuffs. And then put him in the car. But at some point, you having on your badge and you being disrespectful and breaking the law, somebody's going to get tired. Because, and I actually wrote this down, it says, police officers, if you have no respect for the law that's governing you, then why should the people have any respect for the law that is covering you? So I want you to really, really think about that. And I'm going to read it one more time. So come in closer if you need to hear it clear. Police officers, if you have no respect for the law which is governing you, then why do you believe that the people should have respect for the law that is covering you? I'm just saying. Now, to my wonderful people, my brothers and sisters, that's what I mean, my brothers and my sisters. I have noticed, I've never been, and I'm just going to be honest, I've never been so close to a situation like that, where I don't mean like, you know, victim of police abuse or anything like that. I don't mean that. Like, we have it in our family. Like I said, 2018, we are still currently dealing with the loss of my brother. But what I mean is, I have never been so close to where I was able to actually do something, you know, because I would probably be that little African American little female that jumps on in there. I'm sorry, regardless of how white you are, how black you are, and you being attacked, it's not okay, not in front of me. And if my babies are there, it's sure not going to be okay. So yes, I would probably be that one that is out there having your back, because I'm sorry, that's just me. It's not okay, and I'm not going to watch it. So with that being said, I believe that we the people are systematically hypnotized. I believe that there's a switch that goes off in us when we see a uniform. I believe that it paralyzes us all to a point that we forget about the no bullying character in us that would stand up against bullying. That we become so paralyzed that we stand there and we watch another man be killed, or be abused, or a child be abused, or a mother or a daughter be abused. We watch and witness the bully that we would generally stand up against show his ugly face in our presence, and we do nothing because we are systematically paralyzed by the badge. Your inner superhero qualities, again, they become paralyzed. You stand there as though you can't move. Your lips are moving, your mouth is moving, you're crying out for this person, but you're not doing anything to help. So let's unmask this guy. Let's unmask the uniform. I hear somebody saying right now, no, 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 don't take off my uniform. Don't take off my uniform, pleading and crying. No, we're going to strip you down. Because first of all, you don't deserve the uniform you're in. If your behavior is so malicious that you are beating children, mothers, fathers in the street to a pulp, You don't deserve the uniform. So yes, we're going to take it off right now. We're going to unmask you right now. Right now. Because first of all, I'm sorry. I'll be the first to say you're a freaking coward. Yes, I said it. No disrespect to the badge because you shouldn't have it on in the first place. But you, sir, you, ma'am, that are acting out and being malicious behind the badge, you are a coward. And it is wrong. It is beyond wrong. And you are a disgrace to what everything that the badge stands for. It is not okay. It is not okay. Because if you didn't have the badge on, if you didn't have the uniform on, we would see exactly how intimidating you really were. We would see and understand and remember that you bleed like us, that you hurt like us, that if it was your face on the concrete, you'd be crying like us, that if it was somebody else's knee in your back, you would be hollering, I can't breathe. So yes, it is the uniform. It is the badge that we're respecting. It has nothing to do with your coward character. It has nothing to do with you. Everything to do with our respect for the law. Should a couple of men, should it be a male? If it's a female that's showing out and that's, being disrespectful and abusive to, an individual. Now, if it's a man and she's working him over, dude, I'm sorry for you. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But on the real, if it is a male and you're being malicious, should a couple of men come and take a hold of your wonderful self and pin you to the ground, pin you to the very concrete in which you are abusing and killing our brothers and sisters on, and hold you? I'm not going to say beat you to a pulp, but hold you down until a real cop came around? I don't think you could handle that. But that is what needs to be done because it could possibly save a life of a child, of a mom, of a dad. And should that individual go to jail, then we as the people need to get together and put our cops can't beat us, free the man funds together to get him out or to get them out. Because until this situation with the police officers get their attitudes and their personalities in check, or until they get them off the streets, especially these malicious ones, we have to stand up for our families. We are all families in this community, and we should stand up for no more beating and killing us in the street just because you got a badge and just because you're in uniform. And prayerfully, hopefully, somebody in the crowd, if they witness it, have it on tape to show at least only a couple of minutes of it. I don't believe that a person has to go through, unnecessary abuse for 10, 15 minutes to see that it's wrong. But if they have a glimpse of it to see that this officer is insubordinate to where people in the community had to step in, because we're already policing the police. So if we're policing the police and we're fighting for justice, and not only are we fighting for justice, we're fighting against police brutality, then if we see it, yes, not a whole mob of people, only about 2 or 3, just enough to get in there to hold him, to break him away from the victim that he's victimizing until another cop comes to put him in handcuffs. that cops take, take that individual's name or take the individual's names that was there, if need be. And if someone has a video of it, they can say, but don't give the video up. Yeah, I have a video of it. You can take my name. I'm a witness. And if everybody in the crowd decides, heck, you know what, you need to take all of our names, then the cops should be passing around a sheet of paper. I got 44 names that said you was insane and you had lost your mind and that you needed to be retained by the people of the city until a police officer got here. So now you're under arrest. We're taking you in. Now, if you decide, if you want to sit in the back of that cop car with that officer and find out what the heck he was trying to apprehend this other individual for, that's up to you. But if you decide man, that's more than enough that I have to come and get my own man off the streets, and you decide to leave that wonderful person, we'll write it off as a blessing. And, I guess you'll catch him the next time, or either he'll learn his lesson. But it's not okay. And I don't think that we should continue to stand up for it. You guys have to figure it all out, what you're going to do in regards to it, because the bottom line is, we're saying that it's not okay. You have a list of names, a list of victims already in which you have not arrested and made accountable officers or individuals, meaning people like, Zimmerman, that has not been behind bars and taken accountability for their actions. And so if these people get out here and they hurt somebody else or kill somebody else, and you already had their names flashing in red in front of your face, city and state officials, you're held responsible. That blood is on your hands because you already knew that they was dangerous to the community. And you left them out there in the streets to do it again. That's not okay. It's not okay. These bullies behind these uniforms believe that they are immune to a good old-fashioned butt whooping. Some of you are abusing the badge by way of intimidating consequences by the city and state. But God. Don't be the one maliciously acting out in that uniform and actually mess around and get it dirty. Because concrete and blue don't go well together. So stop kneeling on your knees to break a person's back or their neck, because you just might be the next one laying on the streets. Warning before destruction. And no need to worry about what I see. Look at your behavior. You should see it coming. So I suggest you take time to correct it. Warning before destruction. Okay, moving along. So these are just a couple of little things. Like I said, we're moving along pretty well. Dysfunction. And this is speaking of in regards to our dysfunctional system we have here that's going on, our dysfunctional justice system. Your forgiveness, my big brothers and sisters in leadership, your forgiveness is supposed to, and even the attorneys and the judges, everybody in the court system there, this is more so for you guys, geared towards you guys. Your forgiveness is supposed to be bigger than your prison. All because you decided to go out and build a bigger prison than a luxury hotel doesn't mean you should fill them to the capacity with God's children. Your prison population is a reflection of the injustice in your cities and state's heart. It is a direct reflection of how you care about the families in your communities. When you have a love for the people, you don't stick them behind bars and leave them. If you genuinely, I mean, I can have a child that does something wrong, and if they go in their room too long, I'm concerned about them. If you have a genuine love for the people, you don't just put them behind a bar and forgive. And if you have a genuine love for people, then you often assess yourself and remind yourself that just like you make mistakes, that people make mistakes too. So you don't let them, or not let them, but all because they made a bad decision, you don't put a price tag up here when their mistake was down here. There's something wrong with that. And heads up, you know, I'm not one of those people that really talk about race at all, because I just really don't care for it. That's just me. I don't, because I'm not a person that really believes in racism. I mean, I get it. I understand, you know, it's what our ancestors fought for and fought against, you know. I get it. I do. I get it. And they fought that battle, and they fought a good battle. But there were some things that came out of that battle. And I believe that with a lot of the change that they broke, that brought about changes in which we live in today, where the rules do cover us, the laws do apply to us, and that we are in a place where we can go and get the help that we need. I know that, you know, I know some of you are probably saying, you are a prime example that, no, you can't. No, I'm a prime example that, oh, I bet you I will. I'm not going to stop, all because I spoke to 10 people that didn't want to help me. No, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep going. You know why? Because of the fight that my ancestors fought, said that I have permission to, I have authority to. It doesn't say that I'm still dealing with the same situations that they were dealing with. They wasn't even represented by the law. But we are. We're not in the same conditions. I remember when Martin Luther King Jr. was saying that he had a dream that little white boys and little white girls and little black boys and little black girls would come together, you know, and join hands. Look at the protest. Are we not living that dream? I remember when we couldn't eat in restaurants. Well, I don't remember, but I was, you know, I got it through the school system. When they couldn't eat in the restaurants that the white people ate in. But when I walk in first of all through the front door and not the back door. I don't even know what the back door even looks like. And so when I walk in and I see a white woman or I see a white man, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. Praises be to God. And they speak back to me. They don't ignore me. They don't treat me like I don't exist. We're not fighting that same fight. What we're fighting against now is for those little people that are in these positions, that have gotten in these positions, and they're still trying to, their character is dysfunctional, and they haven't woke up and, you know, start living the reality that all men are created equal and that all men are supposed to be treated fairly. That's the person you're trying to get to. And in order to get to them, you got to uncover them and you got to pull them out by their wonderful name, drag them out by their name, snatch them up, hold them up in shame, and says, this one here, gotta go. There's something seriously wrong with their character. They're dysfunctional, they're broken some type of way, or they don't get it that we're living a new day. And the only way you're able to do that is that you keep looking, keep asking questions. If you talk to somebody, I'm gonna give you some examples, but if you talk to someone and you're needing to know their name, then, you know, if you see them, flag them down. Who is this? Get their name. If they don't want to tell you, get somebody else to come tell you. Who is this? Take a picture. Go to management. I don't know who this person is with their wonderful self, but they was disrespectful. They are not, you know, they're not good and healthy for your company. Their customer service stinks, and they treated me like such and such, such and such. There's a lot of managers that won't sign up for that, and it is not okay. But you got to get the face. You have to get the name. You got to get to the right person. When you make the phone calls, ask, who am I speaking to? Get the name. Because, well, do you know who that was? Who you were talking to? Well, you know, no, I didn't catch the name. Then you didn't catch anything that they could work with. But we're not dealing, in my personal opinion, and it is my personal opinion, and we're all entitled to opinions. We're not dealing with the same things that our ancestors dealt with. We actually have a group of white people, Chinese, Asian, Chinese, you know, whatever, Korean, whatever, that would actually help us. And for you wonderful white people, you actually have some sisters and brothers that are African American that love you. I love white people. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Forget it. I don't have to be sorry for y'all, because I don't need y'all approval to love anyone. I love everybody. That is just who I am. I have a love for people. I don't care if they're young, old, fat, skinny, cutely challenged, beautiful. I love people. And I don't need anybody's permission to. I love police officers. I don't need anybody's permission to. But I also have a challenge with wrong. Wrong is not cute, and it's not okay. And I'll be the quick one, the first one to say it's not okay. And I will tell you that to your face. If you do something, say something, and I'm there and I'm close enough to be the voice in your ear and say it's not okay, I'm going to say, that's not okay. And I'm going to do it with sugar. I don't do it with vinegar. I do it with sugar. Examples. I was in the store, and this man, when I walked in, this man came out and around the counter, and I walked down the aisle, and I noticed that by the time I started walking down the aisle, he was on the other end of the aisle, the same aisle I was on. And at first I didn't even trip off of it, but then I went down like 2 different aisles, and he was there too. And I politely said, "Oh, you know what?" I said, "Why don't you come up here?" I said, "Because if you call yourself following me around, then you can actually come closer to me. And then if I actually see something I have a question about, you'll be available to answer it." He was like, no, yes. You're following me. And I don't have any challenges with that. I actually invite you to come closer. Come on. No, I'm good. I'm good. And I still go to that store right today. I know that man's name by, I know that man by name now. We speak. Break those chains. If you see those chains in your life, break them. And you don't have to do it with a negative energy. You just have to do it being more progressive than the enemy. So break those chains. Don't permission people to make you feel a certain way, and you're walking out of the building all up in your feelings. No, don't be up in your feelings. be in your authority. You have a right to be in that store. You have a right to shop without being harassed. You have a right to go up and down those aisles without somebody on your heels. So make them feel small. If they want to act small, then I'll make you feel small. But you will not rob me of my joy. You will not make me feel like I'm, doing something wrong. No, that's not okay. We're not living in the same days of our ancestors. We have to change our way of thinking. We have to understand that there's an authority in us, and we have the right to stand up for us, not in a negative manner. You have to learn how to, talk to people respectfully, even if you're trying to get your point across. You can't be, even white people, because I know some of you have challenges with African Americans or Asians or Hispanics, but even if you're angry or you're disappointed, you have to learn how to, first of all, you need to take anger and disappointed out of the equation, because when you have the authority to do something, the authority to stand up for yourself, then that means there is no reason why you should be mad at anyone else, because I can stand up for myself. I can say exactly how I feel. It's you saying it. It's you saying it and you being able to say it in a respectful tone. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to yell at them. I have I have a way of communicating when you have tried to offend me. Like, for example, let's see. Like, for example, I had a lady. Now, I was in line and I was waiting for service, and she knew I was in line, next in line, and she decided that she was going to take a lunch break, and there's nobody else around. There's nobody else behind me. The devil is a lie. And so I said, I'm sorry, excuse me. Where are you going? She said, to lunch. Oh, hold up just a second. Hold up just a second. I said, where's the manager? And so they got the manager. I said, I'm just curious. Is she not progressive enough to help me? Because I was here, the only one in line, and she decided that she wanted to check out right, before she even helped me. Is she not progressive enough to help me? Are you not progressive enough to help me? Because I wish you would have shared that with me rather than you're going to lunch and I'm the only person in line and you just leave. Oh, no, I can help you. I can help you. Then you should have just helped me. And I didn't go back and forth. I didn't go, no, but you should have just helped me. You should have just, no. I was like, oh, okay, good, great. And I waited patiently for her to clock back in and for her to go ahead and help me before she went to lunch. People treat you how you permission them to treat you. If it's not okay, it's not okay. Say it's not okay, but say it in a kind way. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be rude. But you do have to say it's not okay. Because if you don't, you would let that action eat up at you. And then you would sign it off. Not that that person, that individual was rude, but everybody with their skin tone is rude. And that is not the truth. That's far from the truth. And a lot of you guys, and that's the thing, a lot of you guys know this. And the reason I know you know this is because when you go to different stores, some of you speak to people outside of your races before they even have a chance to speak to you. That's proof that it's not true. Some of you have friends and break bread with people that are on the outside of your race. So you know it's not true when you start calling out the race and saying that it's this particular type of race. No, it's not. That's not the truth. We're not living in those days. We've moved from that. With the days that we're living in, we're picking up the torch. that our ancestors left for us. They paved the way for us to be treated with fairness, with equality, with justice, and they have laws that says that the constitutional laws apply to us too. So the Declaration of Independence is there for a reason. Civil rights, we have them. So we picking up the torch from there. The whole racism thing, we dismissing that mess. That ideology is out the window. Brother or sister in negativity, we're coming after you. You think it's okay? Let me find out who you are. You better change your name, because if I find out what your name is, I'm putting you on shame, and I'm going to call you out, and we're going to get you removed, because you don't need to be in the places that you're in if you have a negative effect on other people. That's where we are. That's where we are. Call them by name, not the color of their skin. Call them by name. Like I said, and I've said it through a couple of different videos, that we're in a season of repentance, a season of forgiveness, because a lot of us need forgiveness, especially for us who have, went and, said a lot of things in regards to, individuals, or, I don't mean like direct individuals, but individuals of the opposite races, because of everything going on, have, taken up as part of your spirit, when you know that that's really, truly, not how you feel, because you have, friends that are outside of your race. You have loved ones that are outside of your race. So there needs to be a forgiveness. Just lost your head temporarily. Wasn't thinking straight. There's a lot of us have to shift our minds and get that out, because it is a chain and we have to break it. We have to break it. And we have to take our authority. We have to know the value of us. Our ancestors knew our value, and that's the reason they fought the way they did. So if they knew our value and they fought for us, we have to know our value too. And we have to carry that with dignity. And be conservative in our actions, not as in being conservative as in laid back. No, being decent and in order. Besides, you can get a lot done with being decent and in order, or a lot accomplished being decent and in order, at these, even at the protests. If you have decent and in order protests, the media can actually focus on, what's being said, and not all the chaos and the violence in the background, where all of a sudden it trumps the movement, because they prefer to pick up the drama versus the desires of the hearts of the people. So we have to change our minds, the way we think. I know I made a couple of videos, or I made a video a couple of days ago, if not last week, and I said, I've never been treated, I've never had to deal with racism. I didn't mean that people never tried to be racist against me. What I was trying to say was, I didn't permission them to, to put that on me. I didn't sign up for that. I just treated it like, okay, you having a bad day. Oh, you being petty. Oh, you're not progressive enough to think that you can't treat me that way. I didn't sign up for it. And when it presented its ugly face, if it was in my authority, it was cracked before they left me. And so when they see me again, they treated me kindly. Not because I disrespected them, because I gave them another way to look at me. Like I said, you don't have to do it with vinegar. You don't have to do it with anger. You don't have to do it with your fist, you know? But you do have to remove that darkness from you that racism has consumed in you, so you can, put in some light, and you can treat, even yourself differently. Because a lot of times we beat up ourselves because of what we go through. Oh, I wish I would have did something. I wish I could. Ooh, if they only knew. No, you could have done something, but you just couldn't do it with that energy. You couldn't do it with that behavior. So you have to start practicing moving that out the way, detoxing that, get that out of your way. And the way you detox that is that you go and you think about, some protective, mechanisms that you can put in place when things happen to you, when certain things happen to you, protective mechanisms that you can say, that are progressive when things happen to you, where you can disarm what they would like to consider to be racism, or and it may not be that that they may be considering it racism. Let's get away from racism and say what they would like to consider to be, demeaning to your character. They're trying to belittle your character, intimidate you. Well, think of some things that will disarm them with that, and be able to nicely and kindly communicate it in the same tone, where maybe the people standing around you have no idea what you have shared with them, but they do know that whatever you said cracked their face, because they can see it all over their face. And then the next time when you come in, their little ugly tails won't act that way. God don't like ugliness, and you don't have to sign up for that. So arm yourself with some personalities or words that will keep people from intimidating your character. Even if it's, saying, oh, you don't think God loves me? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it is not malicious. Like, I'm not saying go and threaten somebody under your breath. No, 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 no. Don't threaten anybody under your breath. Just think of a progressive way to make them think about their actions. Like for another thing, like I would, the teenagers hate this. But when it's cleanup time, or if there's something going on around the house, the kids used to, ask me just the littlest thing, and I don't know if it was to get up under my skin or whatever, but just the littlest thing. Like, for example, I ask them to clean up or whatever, and what should I do with this sock? Be smarter than the situation. Or be more progressive than the sock. Can't stand that. Can't stand it, to the point where they ain't coming back to ask me nothing else. So find some things that will strengthen your character, strengthen your personality. So when you hear certain things where your ear or your heart understands that your character is under attack for absolutely no reason at all, and you wasn't even signed up for this today because it's supposed to be a good day, that you already have words on standby, or you already have a statement on standby to dismantle that quickly and put things back in perspective to where they just want to go ahead and serve you and let you be. But again, it's not because of their race, the color of their skin, it's because of their tacky character. And if you help to correct their tacky character, the next time another individual comes in and they try it again, they probably think twice, or before they try it again, they probably think twice. And if you're one of those people, those individuals that really are able to, you know, progressively come up with something to say during times like that, you know, that's not deemed disrespectful to them, but is an educated, you know, comeback or response to what they're saying, they said a little, just a tad bit louder, so the other people would, you know, be able to pick up on it, and so that they could see, dang, if I don't want to be made a mockery of in front of people, then I need to stay in my professional behavior and keep that mess out of the workspace. We do not deserve to walk into a business and be treated disrespectfully. So I hope that, I mean, I have something I'm going to, you know, I have wrote up some stuff that I'm going to share with you guys later in regards to that. But I do hope that that clears it up when I say I've never dealt with issues of racism. I just never permissioned it to attack my life and to attack my character and to attack my spirit. That wasn't okay with me. I just don't do that stuff. And I'm pleading, not even asking you guys, I'm pleading with you guys to, you know, to change your way of thinking, to change your way of thinking and add value to your character. And if anything, take that negative character of theirs and make small of it to a point that it becomes instinct, wiped out, no more. Because if we can do that one person at a time, then that character in individuals would go to rest. We won't see it as often as we see it. But when you're face to face with it, I mean, face to face, now you see it. Now you know where it's coming from. Now you could pretty much identify it by name because it's probably got a tag on it. And, you know, even taking this to the manager, in, you know, in cases, the manager would, you know, probably release them from their job duties. You're not fit to work here. That's not okay. You don't treat my customers that way. You're messing with my residual income. You're messing with my customer base. So instead of me having won you and lose 10 or 12 customers because of the things that you're saying and the things that you're doing, I choose you. You need to leave. And if they lose a job behind it, then maybe the next time when they're employed somewhere else, they'll bite their tongue before they ever decide to do it again. They learn a lesson from it. And they realize that it don't get them anywhere except for being held accountable for their insecurities and their dysfunctional ways. And if they don't like the consequences, then you do what? You straighten up. You act right. You walk right. You treat others right. So we're going to move from that because I didn't know I was going to say all that. So, okay. It's a direct reflection of how you care about, oh yes, we was talking about the people behind bars. And we talked about, if, I said heads up, if over half of the people in your city and state prisons is Black, you just may be seeing evidence of racism. I don't know if I'd already read that, but, and if I didn't, yeah, I'm not big on talking about racism and racism and all of that. But if you go to the books, and if half of your inmates, over half of your inmates in the city and state prisons, if they're Black, you may be seeing evidence of racism. And if that's the case, my question to you, justice system, is where is the forgiveness for Black America? What happened to our second chances? That's just something to think about. So you get a chance, quickly, you're like, you know what, go get me the books. Let me see. Go check it out. You may be surprised or knocked out of your seat. Okay. No longer armed and dangerous. Less reckless in the process. Less reckless, and in the process, repentance and soon to be forgiven. What I'm talking about here is debadging, degunning officers that are held accountable for these situations, taking their badges, taking their guns, because like I said, I've already shared, they should be behind bars. So with them being behind bars, they're no longer armed and dangerous. They're less reckless. In the process of, and they're in the process of repentance and soon to be forgiven and moving towards healing. And then it says, yes, these individuals need a timeout with the Lord to be sorrowful for their ways and to birth a need to change and have the opportunity to carry it out in their spirit. They are a threat and a danger to all of humanity, and we are where we are, and we are where we are today as proof of it. Get them off the streets behind bars and signed into programs, rehab programs for mental and broken and dysfunctional characters. And then I'm going to repeat again, this is such a necessary, and the reason why, because like I said again, you have these names. These names have been rotated through the media. They've been on television. You have these names, and you know who these individuals are. So if these individuals go out and they hurt another person or they kill another person, you already know that they were a danger to humanity. And so yes, city and state officials, the blood is on your hand. You are responsible for their actions because you already knew that they were dangerous. So you need to get them off the streets. Get them behind bars. They should be serving time anyway. It is not okay for you to choose 10, 11, 20, who knows, maybe 500 over 10,000. They're wrongdoers, malicious wrongdoers. And they should be held accountable for their actions. And you cannot sing the song, we're looking for culpability. It just doesn't apply right here. Okay. You guys, I didn't even get my scriptures. Y'all not helpful. Nobody put scripture. Let me do it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Oh, great. And I just picked up peaceful protest. Okay. And then faith without works is dead. Those are my scriptures. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. And faith without works is dead. James 2. Well, actually, it is James 2:26. And the reason that I chose these was, first of all, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, is because I know, especially in my city, I say my city because in my hometown, El Dorado, Arkansas, I have been trying to keep an eye out in regards to how everything is going. And I noticed that the protesters, the stand-ups, the coming together as a unity is really, haven't really truly been there for, everyone. And this is the time. This is the time right now. When I came down and my brother was murdered initially, you guys were so awesome. So awesome. I mean, horrible that you had to deliver such terrible news, But you guys were so awesome to deliver the news. You guys tried to give me a heads up and say, you know, the system is not going to be fair. You're not going to get justice. You know, you're not going to, this girl's not going to serve time. You know, all of this. You guys were, I mean, we had so many people, and they came to us. And when they came to us with a heavy heart in saying this, you know, and they came sharing that they have witnessed these things happen over and over and over and over in the system. Well, you guys, this is the time, brothers and sisters. Right now, while everybody is up and everybody is chanting for justice, for reform, for resurrection of justice, this is the time right now to get up, to come together as a unit and, you know, pray together, chant together, all lives matter, stand up together, get close, and you know, take away that distance in between each of us and come together and stand together for change. This is the time, and even more important is so the time to do it, because it also gives a opportunity to show that it can happen peacefully, so that when something else comes up in the city and the people need to make a stance on it, everybody needs to be comfortable in knowing that we can call a protest and we can stand together, and it's not going to destroy our city. It's not going to, you know, destroy more people because people are killing each other. We do it together as a unity because we never know we're going to need that voice again. And we stand together because you as individuals never know when injustice is going to land on your doorstep, and you're going to need the support of others. So show up. Don't sign up. Show up. Be there. Stand up. Don't matter what the shade of color you are, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. If you're a part of the family of El Dorado, Arkansas, if you're a friend of the family of El Dorado, Arkansas, if you visit El Dorado, Arkansas, in order to make it a safer place, a better place, for everyone, even for your little wonderful visit. Help us resurrect justice. Help us protest. Help us walk. Walk with us, protest with us, pray with us. And for those family members that need to detox, for those family members that will be walking for a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, you never know how much this means to them. So if you catch them and they look around and they're breaking because of this movement, hold them. Because 9 times out of 10, they've been holding this for a long time. Walk for everything that has been oppressing you. Walk for it. Walk for it with your community. For a stronger community. I even invite the officers. I would love to be walking beside Jeff Rogers, Ricky Roberts, Ashley Woosley Winans. Do it mean that I don't feel like they should be held accountable? I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't wrong you guys. I wasn't the author of the chapter you wrote, you decided to write. So there's no reason you should be angry towards me. But the Lord let things happen for a reason. What was in the dark came to the light. And although I'm a family member of the victim, and in so many ways I have been victimized by the system, especially by some of your actions, I would still like to see you there. I would still like to walk with you. Because it is your city. You are part of the family. You're like that big brother that made mistakes. So I hope that you will be at the protest. If you don't, I understand. But don't let it be because you don't think I forgive you. I forgive you. But I still do believe that you deserve to stand in front of a judge. So, a couple of reasons why we should have a peaceful protest. It's about the increase of peace and silencing crime. It's about people indirectly teaching the nation when they have something to say, you can say it without killing others and tearing down businesses. And this is really good too in regards to a peaceful protest. It also teaches the officers that when the next protests come up, that they don't have to be in a place of fear, thinking that something is going to happen to them as well when they come to these protests. And so they won't be so quick to react, or they won't be they won't be so quick to act out of fear and hurt one of us. So peaceful protest, you may never know, you may be protesting next year for something. If you show them that you can hold a peaceful protest now, then it sets the bar for the protest next year or in the future sometime. And officers won't be so quick to walk into the protest with their hands on their guns, but instead in a more respectful stance. And like I said, with the media, a peaceful protest allows for the media to focus on the necessary concerns of the people, the cries of the people, what the people want, versus all the chaos and the violence in the background, taking priority over the movement. So that is unnecessary for a peaceful protest. Additional to that, having a peaceful protest will encourage those individuals who won't show up because they're so in fear that something horrible is going to happen. And so they won't come to increase the voice of the chant that all lives matter because of that fear. But if they get a chance to witness that it is a peaceful protest and that, that the people do know how to come together in unity for a protest, then your numbers will increase because they'll be willing to come outside the homes and actually participate in the protest with you or with us. And I'm probably going to mention that again later in something else I'm going to do. You guys, okay, really quickly here. Now, how my dreams work or how my visions work. I'm going to share one with you. I'm going to break it down with you because I don't know how to, I don't know very much about what, okay, my dream, my vision had to do with taxes, okay? And I don't know a whole lot about the background of, how the taxes work and everything, but listen carefully. People in leadership, listen carefully. This is it. So here it is. God, it's funny, God has a way of educating you when you're ignorant in what he needs you to do. So what happened was I was walking down the street, and when I looked back, there was this big bright light yellow sign flashing, taxes, right? And it was being driven by, by an individual. And I looked back, I said, taxes. And when I said taxes, I mean, mind you, I'm still asleep, right? But my subconscious was like, taxes. But then all of a sudden, this individual gets out and they run up to me and they asked me about, they wanted me to pay taxes, but they was doing a checklist. And then all of a sudden they got a call. And so when they got this call, they started to walk away from me. And my subconscious is picking up with the call. This person is, I thought I was supposed to collect taxes, and so this person is, like almost distraught or whatever, or just upset, it's like, man, how am I supposed to know when I'm supposed to collect taxes, how? And so apparently this person over the phone had said, this is not a time for you to collect taxes, right? They didn't have any reason to collect taxes from me. And so then I went back, I ran down the street really quick and to the children of God, right? And I know they were children of God. Let me tell you why I know they were the children of God. They were in a big, nice. It was a SUV or a white Tahoe, but it was like with that glittery stuff in it. But it was loaded with people. And so I went down and I ran down, with the intentions of to share with them, what I had heard, and so but this tax collector, and that's it's funny how the Lord can make someone be set apart from others so that you can identify who they are. And I just thought that was just so unique. It was crazy. So, but anyway, so I ran down to share with them what I had heard. And before we could, I asked them, I said, do you guys know when you're supposed to pay taxes? And before they could answer me good, he was there. He had already turned around and he came. And so he asked them a question. He said, do you guys know such and such? I can't recall what the question was. It was almost like a preamble question or something, but I remember all of a sudden they started chanting, or saying, they started reciting something in a group, together. And so at that point, I woke up. I was like, taxes? Really? So then I went and I looked for my Bible for taxes, right? I put Google Bible taxes, that type of thing. Because like I said, I'm not familiar with the taxes or whatever, although whatever goes in the background of taxes. So needless to say, I went and I looked, and let me see where it is. So this is what it says, you guys. Listen carefully. It says tax collectors, also known as publicans, are mentioned many times in the Bible. They were revealed by the Jews of Jesus' day because of their perceived greed and collaboration with the Roman occupiers. Then it goes on to say, specifically in Luke 2:12 through 13, some tax collectors came to be baptized, and they asked him, "Teacher, what are we to do?" "Don't collect more than is legal," he told them. And in Romans 13:6 through 7, St. Paul writes, "That is also why you pay taxes, because the authorities are working for God when they fulfill their duties." So, again, I'm going to read that part over. Specifically in Luke 2:12 through 13, some tax collectors came to be baptized, And they asked him, "Teacher, what are we to do?" "Don't collect more than is legal," he told them. And in Romans 13:6-7, St. Paul writes, "That is also why you pay taxes, because the authorities are working for God when they fulfill their duties." So all of this maliciousness, all of this cover up, all of this not doing what they're supposed to do, that's not working for God. So therefore, in my wrap up, I believe that's the Lord's way of saying, with these people, these individuals, whether it be officers, state officials, unfortunately, our government, all these individuals that are playing a role in this, unfortunately, we shouldn't be paying taxes. When they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're upholding the law, then we're paying taxes because they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're doing it in a godlike manner. They're doing the will of God. I had no earthly idea anything about taxes, but just to give you an idea and a glimpse into my world, that's what I deal with. So even when I don't know about something, he educates me. He takes my ignorance and he educates me, like literally. So, and I didn't know how else to introduce this to you guys other than to share with you what I experienced. So there you have it. My taxpayer dream. Um, I think I'm going to actually, I'll do one, no, I'll say that for later, I guess. So I think I'm just going to cut it off right here. And I hope that anything that I share with you guys was helpful. For those individuals, I'm going to say it again, for you wonderful individuals, whether you're in uniform or out of uniform, your premeditated intentions, you should think twice about. Warning before destruction. Warning before destruction. And for those wonderful government officials who have responsibility to the people to get these individuals off the streets, warning before destruction. You leave them out there, they hurt other individuals and increase the already horrible numbers of malicious attacks and police brutality and killing. That's on your hands. And you're responsible. For you wonderful officers who are reckless in uniform because you think your badge is your savior, it's like your go-to, it's your protection. Your badge means nothing if you are not respecting the law. That is a relationship. They go hand in hand. The same law that in which we live by, that you enforce, you're governed by. And if you are not respecting the law and you have disregarded the law, then the law no longer covers you because you're acting outside of the law. I love you guys. And yes, let me say it for myself so you don't have to ask anyone else. For those of you that are wondering, will I be at the protest? That's home. At first, I was going to reach out to the mayor, and because I was going to do a protest, I was going to set up a protest myself because I haven't had the opportunity to walk. And so I was going to set up a protest myself, but then I learned that there was a protest already going on, and I was going to, before I knew that there was a protest already going on, I was going to reach out to the mayor and ask her, is it okay if I, set up a protest so I can come and do my walk for my community, my hometown. They say charity starts at home first, and you guys, I really, really, really hope you see that I have a major love for you guys, to the point that I don't want you guys to be living in fear. I don't want you guys to, be afraid for your children to walk outside. I don't want you guys to feel like you don't know whether you're going to die the next minute or not. I don't want that. And I am going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep repeating the truth, and I'm going to come home and I'm going to walk with you, because I do love you. And I do pray and hope that I see you guys show up in numbers in a big way, because change will not happen without your stance, without your protest, without your unity. Your unity, you have to stand for something. It's just like having a basket of clothes in front of you that needs folding. They're not going to fold themselves. So you have to get to work. You have to fold them. Change will not come if you don't get to work. You have to put in the work. You got to get up, because your number counts. Your show up will count. Can you imagine what it will look like and what it will scream in volume to have, 500 people show up versus 5? You have 5 people show up. Let me show you what it's going to look like. You have 5 people show up, and that's not enough to make a change. And you live in that same oppression again. You continue to live in the same injustice. Again, you continue to have your neighbor go through the same things again. But 500 show up, 1,000 show up, and you can change so much. You can resurrect your injustice. You can resurrect your justice system. You can heal the brokenness in your community, because the people will get a chance to see who stood with them, who protests with them. You'll be able to walk down the streets and be able to say, hi, and be actually excited to see your neighbor and hear them speak back to you, versus walk past you like you don't even exist. Your children, you can be comfortable in knowing that your children can go and they can play, because you have stood for family. You have stood for unity. It matters, you guys. It matters. My pastor used to tell me all the time, in order to make friends, you got to first show yourself friendly. Show yourself friendly. Don't just sign up. Don't just say, I wish I would have been there. Show up. You don't have to wish. Walk in faith. Be there. And if you're scared, if you have so much fear in you, walk in fear. Bring that fear with you. And while you're there standing, and while you're there shaking, and you start protesting, and you start detoxing and screaming, because I'm pretty sure in a community like that has so much negativity around it, to scream out for help, and to scream out for healing, and to scream out, for justice, is going to feel good to your system. It's going to feel good to your soul, to your spirit, because you're going to feel like you did something, you said something, you made a stance, you actually stood, you stood up against the oppressions in your community. So come out, show up in a big way. And I just want to remind all, let's make this a peaceful protest, a peaceful walk. Let's bring the God in us. Leave that other person at the house. And let's have a good time. And so for I am so looking forward to seeing old faces and just being around you guys. And yes, for those who are just like, you haven't been here in years, when I come back home, there is not one time when I come back home that I didn't pay a bill. And I don't mean my mama's bill. Somebody in the community was in need. It's, oh, Chrissy's home. And I stepped in. Even in California, when individuals were in need, I got phone calls. I took care of home. I'm still taking care of home. I left because I was broken, but I never forgot where I came from. So I love you guys, and I hope to see you soon. That's it.